Rain dripped from the porch roof, steady as a metronome. I stared at the woman standing on my porch, and for a second, I didn't recognize her. 15 years does that to a person. 15 Ohio winters had passed since I last saw her. Hollow cheeks where there used to be softness. Gray streaks cutting through hair that was once honey blonde and wild. But it was the eyes that gave her away, those pale green eyes that used to mirror mine. The last time I saw those eyes, they were glinting in the rearview mirror of my husband's truck. My sister, Vanessa. She smiled, slow and uncertain, like she wasn't sure if I'd slam the door in her face or pull her inside. Smart money was on the former. Hey, Claire. 2 words. That's all it took for my body to lock up, every muscle tightening at once. My hand gripped the doorframe so hard, I felt the wood press grooves into my palm.
I should have said something.
Screamed, maybe. Asked her where the hell she'd been. Asked her if she had any idea what she'd done to me, to us. But my throat had gone dry, and all I could do was stand there like an idiot while my pulse hammered in my ears. Behind her, a black sedan idled in my driveway. The engine hummed low, patient, waiting. I know this is unexpected, Vanessa said, voice thin, like she was testing the words. But I need to talk to you. It's important. Important. The word almost made me laugh. The last time something was important to Vanessa, she packed a suitcase in the dead of night, kissed her 6-year-old son on the forehead, and walked out the door with my husband's hand in hers. She left me a note on the kitchen counter. 4 sentences. No apology. Just a doctor's name, an address, and a single line I'd never forget. Marcus has 6 months. Maybe less. I can't do this. Please. That was 15 years ago. Marcus, her dying son, was upstairs right now, probably wearing his noise-canceling headphones and ignoring his college essay like he'd been doing all week. 21 years old. Alive. Healthy. Mine in every way that mattered. And now she was here. On my porch. Acting like she had a right to just show up. You need to leave, I finally said, and my voice came out steadier than I expected. Vanessa flinched, but she didn't move. Claire, please. Just 5 minutes. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. Wasn't what? I cut her off, heat crawling up my neck. Life or death. Because that's what you said last time, Vanessa. You said Marcus was dying. You said you couldn't handle it. So you dumped him on me and ran off with my husband, like some kind of... I stopped myself.
Took a breath.
Her face crumpled just a little. I know what I did, but things have changed. Changed? I repeated, voice flat. She glanced back at the car, then met my eyes again. David's dead, Claire. The air went out of me. For a second, it felt like every ghost in this house started breathing again.
Dead.
David. My husband. The man who used to leave post-it notes on the coffee maker. The man who taught Marcus how to ride a bike before he was even ours.
Dead.
But if he was gone, then who was sitting in that car? I squinted past Vanessa's shoulder. Through the rain-streaked windshield, I could just make out a figure in the passenger seat. Still. Watching. If someone like that showed up at your door after 15 years, after stealing everything you loved, would you let them in?
I didn't know yet.
But I was about to find out. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just stood there with my hand still gripping the doorframe, staring at the silhouette behind that rain-streaked windshield. David's dead. The words should have hit harder. Should have cracked something open inside me. But all I felt was numb, like my body had already mourned him years ago and didn't have anything left to give. When I heard myself ask, Vanessa's shoulders sagged. 3 months ago.
Heart attack.
He didn't, it was fast.
Fast. Clean.
Over. I wondered if that was supposed to make me feel better. Back then, life in Ohio was simple. David and I had what everyone called a perfect marriage. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. A 2-story house in Powell with a backyard big enough for a garden. Sunday dinners at my parents' place. Date nights at the little Italian spot on Sawmill Road. David worked in logistics. I taught 2nd grade. Vanessa was the wild one. The younger sister who couldn't hold down a job, couldn't hold down a relationship, couldn't hold down anything except a bottle of wine and a string of bad decisions. And then she had Marcus. No father in the picture. No plan. Just a 6-pound baby boy with her green eyes and a cry that could shatter glass. She showed up at our door one night, mascara smeared, reeking of cigarettes, and told me she didn't know what to do. So I helped. We both did. David and I became the safety net. We babysat. We bought diapers. We stayed up with Marcus when Vanessa went out. We loved that kid like he was ours. Until she took everything. "Why are you here, Vanessa?" I asked quietly. She shifted her weight, arms wrapped tight around herself like she was cold. "I need your help." A bitter laugh scraped out of my throat. "You need my help. I know how that sounds. Do you?" I stepped forward, and she actually flinched.
Good.
"Do you have any idea what it was like? Waking up that morning and finding your note? Reading that Marcus had 6 months to live and you just couldn't handle it." Her jaw tightened. "Claire, I took him to every appointment, Vanessa. Every test. Every specialist. I held his hand while they stuck needles in his arms. I learned how to crush pills into applesauce because he couldn't swallow them whole. I cried myself to sleep every night thinking I was going to lose him." My voice cracked. "And you know what the worst part was? It wasn't even the diagnosis. It was knowing that you left him, that you picked David over your own son." Vanessa's eyes glistened, but I didn't care. Let her cry. Let her feel it. "He didn't die," she whispered.
No.
"He didn't." I crossed my arms. Turns out the doctors were wrong. The medication worked. Marcus got better, stronger, and you were nowhere. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The rain kept falling. The engine kept humming. Then Vanessa wiped her eyes and looked at me, and something in her expression shifted. Hardened. "I didn't come here to apologize," she said. "I mean, I am sorry. For all of it. But that's not why I'm here." "Then why?" She glanced back at the car again. "Longer this time. Because David didn't just die, Claire. He left something behind. Something that belongs to Marcus." My stomach twisted. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the truth." Her voice dropped. "About why we really left. About what David was running from." The air between us went cold. "What does that mean?" Vanessa's mouth opened. Closed. She looked like she was choosing her words carefully, like one wrong syllable might detonate something. "It means I lied to you 15 years ago," she said finally. "Marcus was never dying." The world tilted. "What?" "The diagnosis. The 6 months." She shook her head slowly. "It was all fake." I didn't realize I'd stepped back until my spine hit the doorframe. "Fake." The word came out strangled. "What do you mean fake?" Vanessa's face twisted. Guilt. Fear. Something else I couldn't name. "Claire, I can explain. You told me he was dying." My voice rose. Louder than I meant it to. "You said 6 months. You gave me a doctor's name. A hospital." "I know." "So you lied?" "You just—" I couldn't finish. Couldn't breathe. The rain sounded too loud now, like static in my ears. Have you ever trusted someone so completely, only to realize they'd been lying to you all along? I thought about that morning. The one that split my life into before and after. I woke up at 6:15, like always. David's side of the bed was cold. Not unusual. He'd been leaving early for work a lot those days. I padded downstairs in my slippers, expecting coffee. Expecting normal. Instead, I found the note on the counter. His toothbrush was gone. So was hers. But Marcus's blanket, the one with the blue stars he dragged everywhere, was still folded on the couch. Still warm, like he'd just been holding it. The house smelled like Vanessa's perfume. That cheap drugstore kind she always wore too much of. It clung to the air, thick and cloying, like she'd bathed in it before walking out of my life forever. I remembered standing there in the kitchen, barefoot, staring at those 4 sentences on a piece of notebook paper. Marcus is sick. Terminal. 6 months, maybe less. I can't do this. Please take care of him.
V.
That was it. No, I'm sorry. No, I love you. Just a doctor's name scribbled at the bottom, and the sound of silence pressing down on me like a weight. I called the number, made the appointment, took Marcus in 2 days later, holding his tiny hand while he asked where his mom was. Where Uncle David went. I didn't have an answer then. I still don't. Why? I whispered now, staring at Vanessa through the rain. Why would you lie about something like that? She looked down at her feet. Because I needed you to keep him. The words hit like a slap. Keep him? I couldn't take him with us, Claire. I couldn't. She stopped, swallowed hard. David and we were in trouble. Real trouble. The kind you don't come back from. What kind of trouble? She didn't answer. Just glanced at the car again, and this time I saw the figure inside shift. Lean forward slightly, like they were listening. My chest tightened. Who is that? Claire. Who is in that car, Vanessa? Her mouth opened, but before she could answer, the passenger door swung open. A girl stepped out. Teenage. Maybe 16, 17. Dark hair plastered to her face from the rain. She wore an oversized hoodie and jeans that hung loose on her frame, and when she looked up at me, I froze. Because I knew those eyes. Pale green. Just like Vanessa's. Just like mine. This is why I'm here, Vanessa said quietly. Claire, meet your niece. My heart stopped. My what? The girl walked toward us slowly, hands shoved in her pockets. She stopped a few feet behind Vanessa and looked at me like she was trying to figure out if I was real. Her name's Lily, Vanessa continued, voice shaking now. She's 15. And she's David's daughter. The ground seemed to tilt beneath me. That's impossible, I breathed. But even as I said it, I could see it. The shape of her nose. The set of her jaw. David's jaw. He didn't know, Vanessa added quickly. Not at first. Not until… Stop. I held up a hand, head spinning. Just stop. Would you forgive them, or make them regret it? I didn't know. God help me, I didn't know. I stared at the girl Lily, and tried to make the math work in my head. 15 years ago, Vanessa and David left. Lily was 15 now, which meant she was born right after you left, I said slowly, the realization crawling up my spine like ice. Vanessa nodded. 3 months after. 3 months. I did the math again.
Pushed it backward.
That meant Vanessa was already pregnant when she walked out my door. Already carrying David's baby while she kissed Marcus goodnight and told him Mommy would see him soon. While she was living in my house. Eating at my table. Letting me pay for her groceries. You knew, I whispered. You knew you were pregnant and you still… I didn't plan it, Claire. Vanessa's voice cracked. I swear, I didn't plan any of it, but you did it. My hands were shaking now. I balled them into fists. You slept with my husband, got pregnant, and then you lied about Marcus being sick so I'd what? So I'd take him off your hands while you played house with my life. Lily shifted uncomfortably, her gaze dropping to the porch steps. She looked like she wanted to disappear. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. It wasn't like that, Vanessa said. Then what was it like? I shot back. Explain it to me, Vanessa. Make it make sense. She opened her mouth.
Closed it.
Her eyes darted to Lily, then back to me. Can we come inside? She asked quietly.
Please.
I'll tell you everything. But not out here. Every instinct screamed at me to say no. To slam the door and lock it and pretend the last 5 minutes never happened. But then Lily looked up at me, and I saw something in her face that stopped me cold.
Fear.
Not of me. Of something else. Fine. I heard myself say. 10 minutes. That's it. Inside, the house felt too small. Vanessa stood awkwardly in the entryway, dripping rain onto the hardwood, like she didn't know if she was allowed to go farther. Lily hovered behind her, arms wrapped around herself. I didn't offer them towels. Didn't offer them anything.
Talk, I said.
Vanessa took a breath. David was in debt. Bad debt. The kind you don't walk away from. I frowned. What are you talking about? We had savings. We were fine. You thought you were fine. She shook her head. David had been gambling, Claire. Online poker. Sports betting. It started small, but it got out of control fast. By the time I found out, he owed over $200,000. The room spun. 200,000? That's not possible, I said. I would have known. I would have seen. He hid it, Vanessa cut in. Opened credit cards in your name. Took out loans. He was good at covering his tracks. Until he wasn't. My stomach twisted. What does that mean? It means the people he owed money to got tired of waiting. Her voice dropped. They came to the house one night. You were at a teacher's conference. David called me, panicking. Said they'd threatened him. Said if he didn't pay, they'd come after you next. I felt cold. So you ran. We ran, she corrected. David said it was the only way to keep you safe. If we disappeared, they'd follow us. Leave you alone. And Marcus. My voice was sharp. Where does he fit into your little escape plan? Vanessa flinched. I couldn't take him. They knew about him. They'd seen him with David. If I brought him, they'd know we were together. But you. She looked at me, eyes wet. You weren't involved. You didn't know. So if Marcus stayed with you, he'd be safe. So you made up a terminal illness. The words tasted bitter. I needed you to take him without asking questions, she admitted. I knew if I just asked, you'd want to know why. You'd want to help. And I couldn't risk that. So, you let me think my nephew was dying. My voice shook. You let me take him to doctors. Let me plan for his funeral. I know. Tears streamed down her face now. I know what I did. And I've hated myself every single day for it. Good. I spat. Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. Then Lily spoke for the first time, her voice small and fragile. Mom's dying. I blinked. Looked at her. What? She has cancer, Lily continued, wiping her nose with her sleeve. Stage 4. The doctors said she doesn't have long. My eyes snapped to Vanessa, searching her face. And there it was, the hollowness in her cheeks, the gray tint to her skin, the way she held herself like standing upright hurt. How long? I asked. Vanessa's smile was sad. Broken. 3 months. Maybe 4. And what happened when I opened that envelope years later? Let's just say she wasn't done with me yet. Because tucked in Lily's pocket was a letter. And it wasn't from Vanessa. It was from David. David left a letter? My voice came out flat. Numb. Lily reached into her hoodie pocket, pulling out a crumpled envelope. The paper was worn at the edges, like it had been opened and refolded 100 times. She held it out to me. I didn't take it. Not yet. When did he write this? I asked, eyes locked on Vanessa. 2 weeks before he died. Vanessa's voice was barely a whisper. He knew the end was coming. Wanted to. I don't know. Make things right, I guess. Make things right. The laugh that escaped me was sharp, ugly. You can't make this right, Vanessa. You can't fix 15 years with a letter. I know that. She looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time I saw something other than guilt in her face. Desperation. But he wanted you to know the truth. All of it. I snatched the envelope from Lily's hand. My name was written across the front in David's handwriting. That slanted, hurried scrawl I used to see on grocery lists and birthday cards. My hands shook as I tore it open. Claire, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean much coming from me. I know what I took from you. What we took. I won't make excuses. I made choices, bad ones, and you paid the price. But there's something you need to know. Something Vanessa doesn't even know. The debt wasn't just about gambling. It started that way, yeah. But it became something worse. The people I owed money to weren't just loan sharks. They were laundering money through my company. Using me. And when I tried to get out, they threatened you. They said they'd hurt you, Claire. Said they'd burn the house down with you inside if I didn't cooperate. So I ran. I took Vanessa because she knew too much and I couldn't risk her talking. And I left Marcus with you because I knew you'd keep him safe. You always kept everyone safe. I'm a coward. I know that. But I need you to know, none of this was your fault. You were good. You were always good. There's money. A lot of it. Hidden in an account under Marcus's name. It's all there. The inheritance I never told you about from my father, the insurance payout, everything. It's enough to set him up for life. Enough to make up for some of what I stole. The account information is with my lawyer, Harold Brennan, in Columbus. He'll give it to you when you're ready. I loved you, Claire. I know I didn't show it, but I did.
I'm sorry, David.
The letter slipped from my fingers, fluttering to the floor like a wounded bird. 200,000 in debt. Blood money.
Threats.
And an inheritance I never knew existed. I looked up at Vanessa, and something hot and vicious coiled in my chest. You knew, I said softly. Dangerously. You knew about the money. She hesitated. Just for a second. That's all I needed. You came here because you're dying. I continued, voice rising. And you want me to take care of Lily, don't you? Just like you dumped Marcus on me. Just like you've dumped every responsibility you've ever had. Claire. And you thought if you told me some sob story about David and debts and danger, I'd feel sorry for you. I'd take her in. I'd forgive you. Vanessa's face crumpled. I didn't come here for forgiveness. Then what did you come here for? I came here because she has nowhere else to go. Vanessa's voice broke, raw and jagged. I came here because I'm terrified, Claire. Terrified of leaving her alone in this world with no one. Lily was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. And I felt nothing. 15 years ago, she destroyed my peace. Tonight, she watched hers burn to ashes. I bent down, picked up the letter, and folded it carefully.
Slowly.
Then I looked Vanessa dead in the eye. You want me to take her? I asked, voice cold. Controlled. Vanessa nodded, hopeful. Broken. I smiled.
No.
The word landed like a slap. W. Vanessa stammered. I said no. I crossed my arms. You don't get to do this again. You don't get to waltz into my life, drop a bomb, and expect me to clean up your mess. But she's just a kid. So was Marcus. My voice cut through hers like a blade. And you left him anyway. Vanessa's legs seemed to give out. She sank onto the arm of the couch, hands covering her face. Please, she whispered. Please, Claire. I'm begging you. I stood there, watching her fall apart. And for a moment, just a moment, I let myself feel the weight of it. The power. The satisfaction. Stories like this don't happen once. They happen every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because the next twist might hit closer than you think. Then I heard footsteps on the stairs. Mom. I turned. Marcus stood at the bottom of the staircase, headphones around his neck, staring at the three of us with wide, confused eyes. What's going on? He asked. And just like that, everything changed. Marcus's eyes landed on Vanessa first. Then Lily. Then me. Mom, he said again, slower this time. What's happening? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. How do you explain this? How do you tell the boy you raised, the boy who calls you mom, that the woman sitting on your couch is the one who gave birth to him? The one who abandoned him? Vanessa stood up slowly, like her legs might give out. She stared at Marcus the way you'd stare at a ghost, with wonder and terror and something that looked like grief. Marcus, she whispered. He frowned, taking a step back. Do I know you? The question shattered something in her face. It's me, she said, voice breaking. It's Vanessa. She stopped herself. Looked at me. I didn't help her. Marcus's frown deepened. Then his eyes widened just a little.
Wait.
Vanessa? Like, birth mom Vanessa? She nodded, tears streaming freely now. Marcus looked at me, confused.
Lost.
What is she doing here? That's a good question, I said quietly. Vanessa took a shaky breath. Marcus, I know I don't have the right to ask you for anything. I know what I did, but I needed to see you. I needed to know you were okay. Okay. Marcus's voice was tight, controlled. He'd always been good at that, keeping his emotions locked down.
Yeah.
I'm okay. No thanks to you. The words hung in the air like smoke. Vanessa flinched, but she didn't argue, didn't defend herself.
Good.
Marcus turned to me. Mom, what's going on?
Mom.
That word. That one simple word that meant everything. I glanced at Lily, still standing by the door, looking like she wanted to dissolve into the floor. Then at Vanessa, broken and dying and begging for scraps of forgiveness she didn't deserve. And I realized something. This wasn't about revenge. It never was. Revenge would have felt good in the moment. Watching Vanessa crumble, turning her away, making her feel the same abandonment she'd left me with. But Marcus was watching me, learning from me. And what kind of person did I want him to see? I exhaled slowly. Your birth mom is sick, Marcus. She doesn't have much time left. And this is your half-sister, Lily. Marcus blinked, looked at Lily, back at me. Half-sister? It's complicated, I said. But yeah. He was quiet for a long moment, processing. Then he looked at Vanessa again. Why now? He asked.
Simple. Direct.
Vanessa wiped her eyes. Because I'm dying. And I didn't want to go without telling you I'm sorry. Without seeing the man you became. Marcus stared at her. I couldn't read his face. Then he turned to me. What do you want to do, Mom? The question caught me off guard. He wasn't asking what he should do. He was asking what I wanted. Because after everything, I was still the one he trusted. The one he came home to. I looked at Lily, 15, scared, about to lose the only parent she'd ever known. I thought about Marcus at 6 years old, crying himself to sleep, asking when his mommy was coming back. The truth doesn't need revenge. It just needs time and witnesses. She can stay, I said finally. Tonight. We'll figure out the rest tomorrow. Vanessa's face crumpled with relief. Thank you. Thank you, Claire. I'm not doing this for you. I cut her off. I'm doing it for her. I nodded toward Lily. And for him. I looked at Marcus. Because that's what family does. Vanessa nodded, sobbing quietly. Marcus walked over and stood beside me.
Didn't say anything. Just stood there.
Solid. Present.
Mine.
Do you think I went too far? Tell me in the comments, guilty or not guilty. Because 15 years later, I'm still not sure I made the right choice. But I made the one I could live with. And maybe that's enough.